Hi, folks. Here's the midday update for the daily scan on Monday, July 14th. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Let's see, tomorrow is CPI inflation report. It's forecast to come in around 2.7, which is much higher than last month and about what I think it probably will come in at, but it's going to be hotter. And there'll probably be lots of headlines about inflation coming back and tariffs now are showing up in inflation. But this has been expected for months and months, just part of the normal arithmetic for the CPI report. We talked about that yesterday, my Sunday show on one rental at a time. If you want to check that out, that's over there. But let's take a look at what the market's doing right now. And I think it's pretty much flat. It's not doing too much. Sold off in the morning. If we go down here for subscribers, the 10-minute charts on the left-hand side right down here shows a big sell-off at the open. Today's open was actually lower than last Monday's open, which hasn't happened in a while, actually. But it's now coming back. So it's back up above the open, trying to make a comeback. So right now, as of 11:33 a.m. East Coast time, it is starting to move higher. Technology, though, you can see went down. It's actually lower than last week. Financials are coming up. Discretionary is flat. Communication services a little bit higher. Industrials pretty much going sideways. So that's not telling us much. On the defensive side, these are all flat or down. Actually, energy's down. Big run up last week. Utilities pulling back. Materials pulling back. So everything really is really not saying that there's much rotation from one to the other. The whole market is sort of treading water, waiting for tomorrow's CPI report. On the rotation charts, growth versus value actually was pretty strong, even with this big downtrend this morning. So that was pretty positive. That's a bullish divergence right there. The market selling off, but growth and value going up. Discretionary versus staples also going up. Technology actually moved lower. It has been since mid Friday. It's been moving lower. Semiconductors sold off quite a bit, and internet is pretty much flat. So I want to look at that semiconductor one because that looks interesting. It was actually in the top 10 last week of industry groups. And if we look at it today, sold off in the morning, but pulled all the way back up again. So it's going to be interesting to see how the day ends. It's basically sitting right now with a shooting star candle. I'm sorry, not a shooting star. It's with a hammer. Has a hammer, had a shooting star on Friday, but today pull all the way back up again. So that's actually pretty bullish. That even with the sell-off, it's hanging in there and coming back, moving higher. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day today. You can see it's actually got a red candle, but it's sitting right basically where everything has been for the last few days into last week. So it's hanging in there even with a weak open. Okay, let's take a look at the daily scan real quick. Here's Micron, sold off at the open, but again, it has a hammer. So most of the semiconductor stocks will probably look like that. I don't know if any of them will be in the scan, but we're going to find out here in a second. So first, let's take a look at IBD, bullish. Netflix is bullish, starting to come back. Shopify, Toast coming back, and Viva Systems coming back up as well. Has a green bar today. This one's actually got quite a bit of a squeeze going on and just starting to come back up from the squeeze. So this might fire to the upside, but it's in a very long sideways pattern after we talked about this last week. So it's basically a Darvas box right now. So there's the top of the box, there's the bottom of the box. So you want to wait till it breaks out for an entry point. If we look at Magnificent Seven large cap stocks, HIMS is on the list. So it has a green after a red one Friday, green one today. It's starting to move back higher. And Netflix, of course, is on the list again, on this list too. Let's take a look at optionable stocks on the bullish side. Airbnb. These all have weekly options, so they're good for options trader. Netflix is on here, Shopify, Toast on here again. Block is also one of these. Got a green bar as well, bouncing off the 21, so Block might be just beginning to move higher. All of these, interestingly, just ahead of that inflation report, which is implying that the market in general, even though the forecast is higher, the market in general is not too concerned about it. Let's look at the bearish side. On the other side, this is IBD, Astera Labs, and Micron, but it does have a hammer candle. And we'll also look at the bearish side on Magnificent Seven, also Micron. This is a computer hardware stock, and Cloudflare. Open lower, but it's coming back in the afternoon, but it does have a red bar today. So that implies that it is still in a bearish configuration. And then optionable, these all have weekly options. Crocs heading lower. Lowe's, Micron is on there again. Penn National Gaming. Looks like gaming stocks are heading down. Qualcomm is a semiconductor heading lower. Starbucks is going lower, and UPS as well. All right, so that's what those look like. The last thing I want to do is take a look at some of the indicators that we looked at last Friday. So credit spreads, let's see what they're doing today. Credit spreads actually still kind of curling over. Let's look at rate of change on the S&P. Rate of change starting to tick back up a little bit on the 3-month rate of change, so that's good. Went down last week, so it's going to be interesting to see what all these look like tomorrow after the inflation report. So everything right now just looks like the market is kind of treading water, moving sideways. Here's the dashboard. You can see there's the S&P 500. After selling off, it's coming back. NASDAQ 100. The VIX is now back above 17. So we'll have to be careful about that. Bonds, 10-year is higher right now. The dollar is higher as well. And Bitcoin is at 120. It actually had a nice opening bid up to 123, and now it's pulled back to 120. So I said over the weekend that the target is about 135 for Bitcoin, but continuing to go higher. Communication services at the top of the sector list with financial and real estate. And at the bottom is energy, materials, and staples. So it's really a mixture of aggressive and defensive right now. Fastenal reported this morning. It has a shooting star. Looks like they had good numbers, but it's selling off. So shooting star candle on that one. And Rocket Lab this is the top 10 list. HIMS is in the top of the top 10 list. Roblox is in there as well. American Sports starting to move higher at the bottom. Not too many that I recognize. Here's an energy stock rolling over. Railroad stock, so not too much in there. There's a home builder rolling over as well. All right, that's it for today. Let's take a look at where we are right now. And still going higher. So market's still going up. We'll see how it ends the day. And watch out for CPI tomorrow morning. 8:30 in the morning, CPI comes out. So we'll see what that does to the markets. So far, everything still looks very bullish. Market's really strong, hanging in there. No reason to sell yet, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.